Dorin Ellen Bildotan, and it here in Israel is after Chag Simchat Torah, and before this is Erev Shabbat at night. You like? This is my fractal frock. What happened was, on my birthday, I felt very bummed out. So I went online and I wanted to cheer myself up with a classic dress with orange sequins. Sure, Doreen, that's just exactly your style. Well, the AI suggested an orange dress with a classic Fibonacci sequence. And I said, close enough, proceed to check out. Which is, I hope, a nice segue into our conversation this night, deep into the night, about Torah time. Ooh, it's a big one. I had some hesitations about making this video at all. But it's information that one cannot use until they have matured sufficiently in order to be able to do it wisely and well. But I think that it's information that one needs to know before they reach that level. So first of all, to know what to aim for, and to have some orientation of what to eventually expect. Torah time and being able to use it wisely and well is the puberty of the consciousness. And in the very same way that one should properly be prepared for puberty and its responsibilities in advance of it, so I think people should be prepared for this in advance of it, knowing that they can't use it until they've attained a certain level. This discussion will be mostly in English, but I'm going to have to rely on Hebrew also. So it's mostly geared for a bilingual Jewish audience with some background in Torah studies. But I think it'll reach a larger audience if it's not just in Hebrew. And since the algorithm already limits my reach, I'm shadow banned. Yeah. I'm going to try to reach as many people as I can with this information. Torah time is eternal time. Please God, I'm going to be writing out a whole bunch of Hebrew proofs of what I'm saying. This is not, in general, I don't throw out ideas that I can't prove with the Hebrew. This is certainly not material to be just claimed without proofs. So please God, I'll be writing out the proofs. The video will be published after Shabbat goes out in the Wild Wild West. Although I don't see time that way, I do respect those who do. And by the way, I do keep to secular time out of respect for those that reckon time that way. And I'm referring specifically to the Jews who are using secular calendars, whether they know it or not. There are even calendars that are based on Avodah Zarah. Torah time. Like the rabbis, the Karaim, whose praises I'm going to be singing, please God, in another video, but I'll also be talking about the things that I don't think that they are interpreting properly. The rabbis and the Karaites alike condition their reckoning of time on natural occurrences, be they the appearance of the new moon, or in the case of the rabbis, or in the case of the Karaites, the appearance of the ripening of the barley. A Jew should never be conditioning time on any natural occurrence. It is supposed to be our thoughts which are causing the natural occurrences. That is true Torah time. It's a big claim. I'm going to prove it. With God's help. It's a big order. The Hebrew word for thought, the action of thought, is machshava. And there are the value of which is 355. That is the same value as the word shana, which is translated as year, and is also the root of the verb that means to change. We should be changing nature and reckoning time with our thoughts. Machshava. Now the beginning of the word machshava, memchet, in and of itself is a word. Memchet is both moach, which means brain, and it is also meach, which is the marrow in the bones. And then we have Shin, Beit, and Hey, which is Shava, she returns, and it is also Hashev, which is one answers. Looking again at the mem and the chet in the word machshava, meaning thought, value of which is 355, which is also the value of the word shana, translated as year. The mem and the chet taken alone is 48. And that is the value of the word yovel, which is jubilee. So we can look at the word machshava, which is the same value as the value of year, as hayovel shav, the jubilee returns in the male. Jubilee is both male and female. Or we can look at it as jubilee, yovel shava. Now we're looking at the yovel in the feminine. So the word shana, which is year, contains within it the yovel, which is reckoned as the 50th year in after seven 7-year cycles. So what we see immediately in this is that Torah time being eternal, we do not have smaller units in time contained within larger units of time like Russian dolls. We'll see this again when we look in this discussion briefly, and please God, I'll write it out under in the comment section so that you can see what I'm talking about under the video and the space provided. So Machshava Shana contains the word Yovel in it. HaYovel Shava. The Yovel returns, which is very interesting. By the way, an anagram for Yovel, Jubilee, is Bלוי, which is a pleasant, entertaining time, spending one's time in a pleasant way. So we see that a much apparently larger time is contained within a smaller one. And this we see consistent throughout the Hebrew. Looking again at the word Shana, 355, this can take us into looking at the word Sha'ah. She and Ayin, Hey, 375, which is translated as hour. It is also the name of Shlomo, the King Solomon. It is also Moshe, to Moshe, and it is also the name Tzipora, spelled correctly without a yud. So Moshe is Tzipora, which makes sense, she's his wife, and it's also Shlomo. This is Sha'ah, this is an hour. But we can look at the word Sha'ah equaling 375 as Ke Shana, as a year. This is very interesting. And we've said that the word Shana, usually translated as year, is machsheva. So an hour can be looked at as Ke machsheva, as a thought. As a thought is, so an hour is. And this, by the way, is also an anagram of the root asa, which is to do or to make. 375. We can look at 375, we can take that ke that we're adding on, which means as its value of 20 being chaza. So the word sha'ah can be understood as chaza shana. Chaza means to envision. And it is also the kind of envisioning that one looks at from a high level of consciousness, including prophecy. So an hour is keshana, which is as a thought. And then we can also look at it as ke yovel shava, as a jubilee returns. Now another substitution value for the letter kaf equaling 20 is chogeg, which means to celebrate. So the word sha'ah can actually mean chogeg hayovel shav, celebrating the return of the jubilee in an hour. So we see then that in Hebrew time, shorter periods of time are not contained in longer periods of time as Russian dolls are contained one in the other, because we are talking about infinite time. I will also give the example of Yom, which is translated as day, and Shabbat, which is the Sabbath. There's much, much more. Please God, I'll write out much more. But in the course of this discussion, I'd like to concentrate on these. The Hebrew word Yom, which means day, or is translated as day, is 616. That value is also the value of the word dorot, which means generations. So a day is actually generations. And the number of generations is not stipulated in the word yom. It's simply generations. When we have an expression like Yom Echad, day one, what Hashem is saying is Iched Dorot, unified generations, and it is also Ba Yom Chag, 13, which is the value of the Hebrew word Echad, which is one, is also Bachag, on a holiday, on a day of celebrating. So Yom Echad is Dorot Bechag, generations on a celebration, and is also a day on a celebration. This is just the beginning, folks. What I'm actually touching on is goes on, and this is infinite time. Shabbat equals 702. Therefore, it is equal to the expression Yom Kolel, the comprehensive day. Yom Kolel. Now, the word Yom 616 is also HaTorah. So it is Kolel HaTorah, the comprehensive Torah. And it is also Kolel Dorot, contains generations, or the totality of the generations is actually what Shabbat is. The word Yom, going back to 616, the 16 in it is Hachag, which is the celebration, and then the mem sofit at the end, which equals 600, is Sas. Sas is a very, very high level of joy. So Yom, translated as day, which we have seen as the totality of, which is the Torah, HaTorah, which we have seen as generations, is the extreme joy of the celebration of the holy days. When we get to this level, we can no longer die. We become immortal at this level because we perceive time as infinite. Every day that we're living is generations. So the ordinary experience of dying becomes an irrelevancy. We understand death entirely differently. and not in the way others do. This consciousness is synonymous with the consciousness that confers immortality. Since we've just finished Sukkot, the one more thing that I'll also share, it's a beautiful thing. This holiday is called Chag HaSukkot. HaSukkot is 491 written correctly with one vav, as it should be. Usually when we talk about Set, we talk about Set HaKochavim, the coming out of the stars. But unfortunately, that expression is also used to mean the going out of Shabbat. Set HaShabbat is understood by the rabbis as Shabbat ending. But we can see that Shabbat never ends. So Set HaShabbat should not be understood as the going out of Shabbat, but the coming out of Shabbat. When we come into the consciousness that allows us to experience time as infinite. With that, I'll end here. And please God, I'll write out these chilufim, some more chilufim, which will further demonstrate that I'm not just talking in the air, that the Hebrew fully supports everything that I've said. In fact, if one reads Hebrew correctly, they have no choice but to arrive at these conclusions about the nature of reality. And a very important video that I want to make is a video about the Karaites. I've been doing marathon learning about the Karaites. And although I don't agree with their interpretation on many levels, they are deserving of the most respectful consideration, because many of the things that they're saying are absolutely essential for us to understand in order to be able to escape the malign effects of rabbinical Judaism. And even when they criticize the rabbis, they do it far more respectfully than I do. They're very balanced people, and I've been impressed with their intelligence. I think that it's very, very important to listen to the things that they say and why. And Karaite Judaism, while it doesn't take in the depths of the Hebrew language, and it does hinge the reckoning of time on nature, which is not correct. It has many, many things that are correct, and it is an essential part of the reset that we Jews desperately need in order to be able to return to the true prophetic tradition. Thank you for listening.